say there was something, but you say there was nothing, but you say it with a smile. Whoa.
Whoa! Look out! Look out! Welcome to the Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast. I am your host, Coach V, and I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Dry, who is thankful AF for Tank Dale. Right off the top.
Can I get a Dale yeah, brother? Dale yeah. Man, what a guy. What a guy. What a champion. He's like a son to me. And Coach V, I know he's at home right now, but he never leaves his home without wearing his dental dam.
I wonder if people out there need education on what a dental dam is. They can look it up. People have Google.
Yeah, just Google it.
But I like how you thought it was Dental Dan, D-A-N.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm texting while we're live. Had to send Weeman a text.
And didn't you try to work Dental Dan into a prayer?
I did, yeah. I was leading Thanksgiving prayer, I think, and at the mother-in-law's, not a good move. But I thank the Lord for dental Dans, and while we were, praying over the food, and yeah, kind of a big moment. Not the best move. I had to work my way back. So anyway, so don't do that if you're the guy leading prayer for your Thanksgiving here in a couple days. But Coach V, how was your week this week?
Pretty good week. Like, it's one of those things where, like, in the leagues where you're doing great, I'm doing great. In the leagues where you're doing bad, not turning it around, I am statistically eliminated from the playoffs in one of my leagues already. So I am worthy of a butt cheese boy alert. Now, I will put this out there. Someone wanted to trade with me in the league that I'm statistically eliminated from playoff contention.
Okay, in regular season, right?
Regular season, and it's it's a redraft league. I turned them down to be ethical. I don't think I should be trading with anyone anymore now that I can't even make the playoffs. Do you think that's like an ethical thing to do?
That was a stand-up guy move, I think. Yeah, I mean, because what benefit do you have? I think I wish more people would think like that. Same thing with like wasting waiver wire stuff whenever you're eliminated.
Yeah.
For what? So you can go into the consolation bracket and win for endorphins? Like what? I don't know what the goal is there. So, but yeah, hate it whenever someone's in the consolation bracket and they have the higher waiver priority claim and like, I don't know, you're duking it out in the championship and you need like a running back or something. It's bullshit. Like, don't ever be that person. Be more like Coach V. That's the way to go.
Yeah. We're pro fantasy football, number one, as a sport. If our team sucks, we own it, and then we try to encourage good things to happen in the league, not screw everyone over so my team can get 9th place instead of 12th place. So,
right. Yeah, exactly.
So how about your leagues? How are they going?
I went 5-0 this week, so it was a big week. Just guys going off. Lost Joe Burrow in a league in Dynasty, but I made up for it. Made a big trade at the trade deadline. Kind of a blockbuster amongst quarterbacks. But you gotta make those moves before that trade deadline if you see a need. So I'll get more into that on whenever we talk about what we're thankful for. But yeah, I mean, it was a great week. Tank Dell went off, Puka Nakua did his thing, and then you had all the guys at the top producing that I have. So yeah, just very happy with how it's turned out in the Dynasty League that we're in. I'm now 5-6, but I have the most points in the league, and I just beat the top team for the second time. He's 9-2, I'm the 2. So so that's a good feeling right there, showing I can hang with anybody in the league despite being 5-6. Jumped up to the 5th seed. I was 1-6. It was everybody was thinking I was tanking. But the only tanking I was doing was getting a Dell Yeah brother. So anyway, been living it up ever since, and have a key matchup against my buddy Brett this week, basically for a playoff spot. Other than that, big time dynasty team is 10-1, so we have that going for us. The league where I'm 2-time defending champ, 8-3 in second place. Just need a little bit of the first place guy's 8-3. He has way more points than me, so just need to flip flop that. But on track for a bye there. Let's see. RLQ Revival, pretty bad. I moved up to 11th, and that's my one shit team. That one's not very good. And then Work League 8-3, and I did clinch a playoff spot. So we're only 4 make it in that one. So it was a good week for me. I just hope that I'm not in some leagues. I hope I'm not peaking too early. Like one of them, I have like a 7-game win streak, and I kind of want to lose before. Like I've probably locked up the 1 seed here pretty soon, but I can't go into playoffs with a 10 game win streak because that never like it's hard to win 13 in a row. So you got to think about that sort of thing, and so I need to drop a game. I need to get beat because that's just too many. Like you can expect your one fuck up to be like between weeks 15 to 17. So I do need to lose one there. But it was a good week. I mean, sustaining the injuries and getting through it, and felt like I made some good moves along the way. So love how the year's shaping out as a whole.
Nice. Okay, so on to our awards. You've come to know them. You've come to be very familiar with them. So we have the holiday Hillshire Farms Holiday Sausage, Cheese, and Cracker Gift Basket of Disappointment, which is a lot of people. Hey, oh my gosh, it's holiday cheese and cracker time of year. We've been talking about
the season.
We've been talking about this since September, but it's finally here. It's time that people are out there receiving these things, and they're really going to start to understand what we mean. Oh,
yeah, it's coming true.
Like wow. Good thing we got behind Hillshire back when no one was thinking about it. We've been pumping up them since September.
Hillshire season, bitch.
So who let you down this week, Dr. Dry?
And it's not so much him. Like we have some pretty big names on this list this week. Probably the biggest names we've ever had. Mine is Jamar Chase. And it's more his situation that I'm really afraid of. I mean, Browning looked like he browned the bed. He's not Joe Burrow. We know that. Jamar Chase clearly frustrated. I mean, he got lucky, had like a 2-yard touchdown at the end to kind of look respectable at the end with like 9 fantasy points or something. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, Burrow went down before Jamar Chase could start cooking. And so that was a bit concerning because he just wasn't even being looked at. I like to go. I'm not in any Yahoo leagues right now, but I keep the Yahoo Fantasy Sports app going because I love the comment section. That where everybody's like just going through it together, talking shit about the player and all that. So Jamar Chase is my Hillshire boy this week, but it's mainly because of his situation. I just don't believe in Browning. There are people talking about I know it's a family show, but blowing your whole fab for I don't even know his first name, Browning. Jake Browning. And it sounds like someone you'd go to high school with, not someone in the NFL. Like, that's Jake Browning. He lives over on Elm Street. We're going to go smoke weed at his house later or something.
He's like a non-contributor. He's just on the side. He's not like adding anything to the situation.
Right.
He's just that quiet guy who's near cool people, so he gets thought of as cool. But Jake Browning isn't throwing out original content to the friend group.
That's true. That's perfect. Yeah, Jake Browning is, he's popular. He's but he doesn't say anything. He doesn't add any original content.
Right.
He's just he's got his collar popped.
Yeah.
He dresses well. His
Yeah.
parents have a little bit of money, but you wouldn't know one fact about him because he doesn't talk. So,
Yeah. He
um,
drives his, like,
so
nice.
Jake Browning, yeah, yeah. So Jamar Chase, I'm worried because of Jake Browning. Jamar Chase is the cool, popular guy, and it's really going to bring him down. It's going to be one of those situations where if he's still upset with, I could see it becoming what we thought would happen with Devonte Adams,
Yeah.
where he just completely gives up on the team and kind of quits for the season, gets hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of worried about that, and it couldn't be happening at more of a worse time, like whenever teams are fighting for playoffs, and you had the slow start with Burrow, so Chase is kind of getting choded through this whole season, really. And we've had that middle part was pretty good though. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Browning. But you have a big name on here also. Who's your Hillshire Farms Holiday Sausage Cheese and Cracker Gift Basket of Disappointment Award winner on your side?
So yeah, I have Stephon Diggs on my side. Obviously, no one's worried about Stephon Diggs' future. I'm just disappointed in the past 2 weeks because he's put up like less than 10 points the past 2 weeks. The Bills overall just kind of been a little weird past couple weeks. Khalil Shakir's going off, like that's weird. Stop that. Now Dalton Kincaid, like we love Dalton Kincaid. We're believers in him, and
Yeah.
he's been showing up big time the past 4 or 5 games. But yeah, so Diggs just having a down couple weeks, which that's fine. Hey, maybe he's getting this stuff out of his system before fantasy playoffs. I know they got, they fired their OC. They got a new OC. So there's probably some kind of refiguring out there. And also, it was the Jets defense. He was getting blanketed by the Jets defense. So obviously, your secondary receivers, your twos and your threes are going to go off whenever you're getting blanketed by the number one and getting body slammed. Did you see where he got just slammed down?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, Sauce Gardner just like picked him up by his waist and just like threw him over his head.
Suck my Diggs.
But yeah, not worried about him long term. Just disappointed. Thankfully, where I had shares of him, my team was still able to win despite. But he's like the number top 5 receiver in the league. You can't be doing that. Come on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I kind of pointed this out in preseason. Stephon Diggs, and maybe he's in rare form and showing up early this year. But
Yeah.
at the end of the year in your fantasy playoffs, the last couple years, Diggs has been known to show up short. He
Yeah.
disappears in that offense. It's a dynamic offense. There's no reason why he should be that focal point. He should be highly involved. He should get all the lovins from Josh Allen and all the kisses, all the hugs, everything that he needs. And I don't know why he's. Also, I think Diggs is a drama queen. He's so dramatic, dude. Like even when he like catches the ball for a first down, he's like just. He's ridiculous. Just the way that he's just so dramatic, and you can tell he thinks he's so cool, which he is cool. But you gotta, I don't know, he does that after every catch that he makes. Like, stop it, just shut up, play the game. Like, I don't know. I hate to be like that old man, get off my lawn, but
Yeah.
it reminds me of OBJ,
Yeah.
and. That guy, everyone's going to say he's back, but he had 4 catches, 116 yards. It took him 2 years to do something like that. So you're chasing points if you think OBJ is going to be anything moving forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, Diggs, he's dramatic. He's I don't know, he's like kind of. I think that there is some beef there between him and Josh Allen that is. Hasn't come to the surface yet. I don't know what it is. But Josh Allen was throwing to everybody except for Diggs.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. Very weird situation over there. And also Diggs' brother sending out tweets get him out of there and all this stuff. And I don't know, like that doesn't just happen. Like your brother doesn't just do that for no reason. Like you're a high profile NFL player. Just I don't know what situation Diggs would be looking to go to. Like that's a pretty good situation. You get your stats, you're a competing team, you're going to be in the playoffs, you have a chance at the championship, you have the quarterback for however long you can play for. I don't understand it. You got paid, like everything's there. So I don't understand it at all.
Yeah.
But
There you go. So, on to our next award, the Sleep Number Shit the Bed Award. So, this is for those players that you are kind of done with, you're kind of moving on from. We got some pretty good names on the list, some recognizable folks. So who's pooping all over your sheets and your blankets and your comforter? God knows we
ugh.
only watch that once a year, so now I got to watch it twice. So
Yeah,
who
right.
messed up your sleep situation this week?
Yeah, so it's it's a definitely some streaks left on there, and they look kind of small on here because we had to make room. A lot of people have ruined this bed, and a lot of people have bounced back who have been on here. Calvin Ridley, he won't use the toilet. He loves coming back and using the bed, and and anyway, him and Trevor Lawrence bounced back big. Tony Pollard had a good week. He scored.
Yeah.
So maybe these guys bounce back because we've been completely wrong on about half of these people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I put Jerry Judy in there. I don't know. Saw him make a key drop. I didn't watch the whole game. He didn't have like the worst game in the world. He got like 10 points, 9 points. But where has he been all year? I think he's kind of flown under the radar where we didn't actually put him on here. He hasn't been horrible enough to just throw on here. There's no memorable moment where you were like, I'm done with this guy. It was just kind of an accumulation.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of us have cut bait from him way before.
Yeah.
But it just hasn't happened yet. Cortland Sutton's been the guy, and I was hoping Cortland Sutton would be the guy a couple years ago, so I missed the train on that. But Jerry Judy, and it was since Steve Smith said all that stuff about him, and anyway, he didn't respond the right way, and he has been nothing since then. So Jerry Judy is on my Sleep Number Shit the Bed Award list. And then we also have Aaron Jones. I mean, I know the guy got hurt, but at least be Joe Burrow and score before you get hurt, right? So have some decency. But Aaron Jones, I think he has one game over 10 points this year, maybe two. I think the first week he looked great, 26 points, and they had like a 17, and then a lot of under 10s. So I just think he's someone that you can go other directions in your lineup, and he's just someone who you're not excited to start. And then you have the king himself on here. So tell me a bit about why Derrick Henry made the list.
Yeah. So for me, Derrick Henry's on the list mainly just because all the outlets, everyone who keeps track of that stuff, they reported, leading up to the Jaguars game, his history with the Jags. Derrick Henry always goes off against the Jags, multiple touchdowns. He had a record for I think 5 in a row, 200+ yard games against
He
the
does that against the Texans too. So yeah,
So, it's just like, yeah, I know the Titans are awful, but this is the one, like the 2 times a year you shine, man.
yeah,
And the Titans just came out. They looked like garbage. Henry runs for like less than 50 yards. It's just getting really bad. There was a point where we were like, oh, we feel bad for Henry for being on the Titans because they suck. But it's like
yeah,
he's come down to that sucky
right,
level of play. And it could just be he's the only asset in the offense and everyone keys in on him. If he actually had gone to the Ravens where he is one of many weapons, would he be thriving over there? Possibly. But
yeah,
I think he's got a lot of miles on him. And, who knows where he's going to play next year. Maybe that changes how you think about him. But the king is not the king anymore. it's sad. It's sad to watch this player kind of degrade so quickly,
The
but
Prince.
it's yeah, he's demoted to like pauper or a peasant. No, not peasant. It wouldn't.
Like a poop smith.
Yeah,
Shovels the town poop,
like a
maybe.
kitchen worker at a pizza place, like a peasant.
Not making the tips. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a rough spot. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and that's, we're not happy to put anyone on this list. I mean, some players were like, F that guy, like Arthur Smith. Like, he hasn't gained a single yard all season, and he
Gosh.
doesn't even use the right guys. So, we were very happy to put him on there. But Derrick Henry, with a heavy heart, he's on the Sleep Number Shit the Bed Award list. So, anyway, I'm getting sad. What can we do to fix it?
We got to perk it up. Let's go to Mickey D's and grab a 10-piece. But oh wait, those foolish olds making my food. They put an extra few nugs in there.
We got a 14-piece tonight, boys.
So, who is your McDonald's 11th nugget pleasant surprise this week?
So, I do kind of a bad job about texting these over to you. So let's play the game. Who's that guy in the top left?
Oh, is that DeVito?
Yes, that's what Tommy DeVito looks like. So that's Tommy DeVito.
Is that just a white guy?
Just a white guy.
Is he a white guy or is he like a mixed guy?
I think he's an Italian feller. He I know there's the story floating out there like, oh yeah, mom still does my laundry. She has dinner for me whenever I get home from a game and oh shucks, and I can't believe this is happening to me. Just like, Madden 2012 and Tony Romo, that little bit that they would say about him. So, but Italian, right? So Tommy DeVito, man, like what a guy. He showed up out of nowhere. Definitely a good surprise. Those idiots put an extra McNug in there for us, and they sprinkled 4 of them in there. Someone's getting fired at the local McDonald's today. So Tommy DeVito, great job. And if you have like nothing at quarterback, and I don't know, you need some sort of miracle, maybe he's your long shot. Just go get him. So. At all costs. I think who would you rather have, Tommy DeVito or Jake Browning?
Whoa. I mean, I have at least one positive data point on Tommy DeVito, and I have 0 positive data points on Jake Browning.
Exactly. And then the other fella I have on here is Jaylen Warren. So great job, Jaylen Warren. It only took him 9 carries. He had like 125 yards and a touchdown or something. He had that long touchdown. Their offensive coordinator, Matt, went to Canada, so he's out of there. Yeah. And man, that guy sucked. He was like whenever the Titans had Todd Downing and just downing the offense, dumbing it down. I kind of feel like he was a big problem in Schittsburg, but also like, Kenny Pickett sucks. Like, he's not the guy. And I think that they're starting to realize that. Let's see. We actually, while we're relevant here, Superfan Matt checking in.
Hey.
We need to do something for, like, the first comment. Like, have, like, I don't know, like a horn that we honk or, I don't know, something classy.
Okay.
But. Okay. All right, there we go. First comment gets the horn from Coach V. Free from Canada at last. We are free at last. So Matt Kogar, definitely not a fan of Matt Canada. They share a first name and nothing else. Yeah. Anyway, so also they've. Matt Kogar's probably contributed more to the Steelers this season than Matt Canada has. Let's be real. So he at least shows up every Sunday. He watches his games, wears the right colors and everything, and just great fan. Unlike Matt Canada, who's there to specifically fuck the team. So, so Jaylen Warren, great job there.
Yeah.
Making the 11th McNugget Award list, and then also we have not Arthur Smith. He was on a bye week. He still sucks.
Yeah.
So fuck you. You're never winning the 11th McNugget Award. And then who do you have?
So I got Devin Singletary on there. So not one, but 2 weeks in a row, he's put up almost 20 or 20 plus fantasy points. He's looking really good. Like, kind of want Damian Pierce to stay off the team. Let's just so
Former God Squad member.
yeah, I know. But hey, we almost got it right. We had it with the Texans running back. But like, and it could just be a window. He could just be in, the whole. I mean, I don't want to say it, but like the Texans could just be in this awesome window, and everyone's riding the good stuff in that window right now. I hope that's not the truth. I hope that's just like. I hope this window is like the rest of the fantasy season. But Devin Singletary, this could just be a good window for him. But it's crazy. Like the Texans could not run the ball with Dameon Pierce, and now they're figuring out how to run the ball. Like everyone was like, "Oh, it's not Dameon Pierce's fault; it's the offensive line's fault." But Devin Singletary's going over 100 yards, and so I don't know. I'm excited about it. I think it's cool. I mean, because I think like when he was with Buffalo, I don't think he really got a good fair shake in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I think he's a pretty good player. He just hasn't had like enough opportunity, and the Texans are giving him that opportunity. They got that great passing game that's threatening downfield, which opens up things for the run. It's not always run to open up the pass. Sometimes you pass to open up the run. And so yeah, I like seeing Singletary. Probably was a great waiver wire pickup for a lot of people who were like, oh well, like I picked him up when he was at like a 50% snap share with Dameon Pierce. I was like, oh, this could be a thing. And
Yeah.
now that he's got the whole backfield, it's definitely a thing. And I'm just at the point where it's like, how many Texans can I just shove into my lineup at one time? Just like, do I play Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Devin Singletary, and CJ Stroud? Probably.
Yep.
And you probably have a pretty good afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah, grab rest in peace Kaimi Fairburn, but if he was there you'd probably put him there. Dalton Schultz.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Noah Brown comes back, you got the full team going. Start that Texans defense, just
Yeah.
everybody.
Great.
I think something's messed up with our comments or something. I tried to comment back, like typing on there, and it said like there was an error. So if we're not seeing all your comments, sorry everyone. Also, one more thing. Did you notice that little fella peeping out at the bottom left there?
Yeah. Did you drop Rashad White down there?
Yeah, so Rashad White, that's um specifically for the Ben Halls of the world. He just he's mentioned a couple times this week, like make sure that you pay that respect to our Lord and Savior Rashad White. He's a big Rashad White guy. I have Rashad White in my other dynasty league. He's been good. He's the last few weeks 17, 18 points. White can be the light in a dark fantasy season. So he's neat because he catches passes. They're finally starting to use him. So, until he has a bad week, he can just hang out down there. But that's just for Ben and just for a limited time only, unless he just balls out the rest of the year. So, Rashad White, hang out. You can stay inside at the McDonald's for, you're welcome to as long as you want.
It looks like he's the one. Like, it looks like Rashad White is saying, "Ba da ba ba ba."
McDonald's, yeah, in that country accent, like Rashad White talks. I don't know. I don't know what he sounds like.
So why not?
Yeah. Well, all right, a little bit of trolling here, but that's okay. So, Matt, I had a blockbuster trade with him in our dynasty league. Kind of rage traded Jameer Gibbs, like maybe a couple weeks before he started going off and got a real opportunity. And it was, now that I'm looking at it, like I don't know, it's looking bad the rest of the year because I gave up Jameer Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, my 24 first, my 25 first for Jamar Chase and 2024 second and 2025 second. So basically switch spots a little bit. And Jamar Chase is my grand prize. But that hasn't looked very good at all. But I lead the league in points. So I mean, who needs all that firepower, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll see. So, man, yeah, everyone's coming out tonight. But yeah, no, Matt, I think for now you've won that trade. We'll see what we end up doing, but great job, very savvy. First year playing Dynasty, and you definitely made a good trade with me, who's been playing Dynasty for a minute. And then we got this nice comment from Skittles, the Candy Man. Vinny looks like a middle-aged man, and Kevin looks like a discount version of Eminem.
Well, I mean, that's what you were going for with the ice and the hood and the hat.
Yeah.
It's just not
Part of-
cold enough here for me to put a hood on. It's still like 97 degrees here. So
Yeah, Vinny's in Tennessee, so he can't pull the hood out yet. It's still summer over there. So anyway, yeah, it's just part of the Dr. Dry get up. I dress like this every single day. And Vinny is almost a middle-aged man.
I'm basically a middle-aged man. So
Yeah, I mean, like we're literally like we're 34, so yeah, halfway to 35, and anyway, so yeah, I guess I don't know, is middle age 40 or like I mean 35 is probably middle age for me, but
yeah, it's all about when you plan on dying. So
yeah, I'm probably at middle aged.
yeah, so if you plan on going out at 70, which
Yeah,
I mean,
might be on the back half now. I don't know. I smoked for a few years, so
if you go out at 70, I don't want to go to 80. Like I want to kick out at like 72. Like I don't want to stick around much longer.
Yeah, so joke's on you, Skittles. And then he made up for it with a love you guys. Praise Peepaw. All right, so glad we were able to acknowledge the very busy comment section by both of our viewers.
Yes.
And all right, so let's get these nice fellas off of here.
Yeah.
And anyway, just so this episode's going to be a little bit longer because it's Thanksgiving. We just decided let's make it all live. Nobody even watches the Thursday one anyway, so I don't think they do. We get the least amount of views on there, but yeah. So I guess kind of transitioning here before we get into week 12, and before we have a special commercial for everyone. But what moves are we thankful that we made this season? I know what's not on this list for me is that trade I made with Matt, but other than that, I think I did a really good job of targeting the right rookies, and that's where I think I've really fallen in love with Dynasty is doing that research on rookies. I wasn't enamored with like the JSNs of the world, I don't know, like just like those top like 3-4 receivers. Like didn't have much interest in them. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna, obviously I didn't have the draft capital, otherwise I probably would have taken them there based on ADP. But being in a position where I had done well the year before and had to do research. So thankful for that because that brought me to Tank Dell in like the third round of a rookie draft. And then I took him everywhere.
Yeah.
We have him almost everywhere in best ball. We were on him before, anyone from ESPN even mentioned him. We have been on him for a very long time. Same thing with Puka Nacua. Like we weren't going crazy over him, but believe me when I say like I drafted that guy. Like I didn't pick him up on the waiver wires after he blew up week 1 or anything like that. He was on my bench, but I mean, I'm not just going to throw the guy out there yet. I need to see something. But and Puka season's coming back, by the way. Pukachu, his electric ass is coming back because Cooper Kupp's hurt right now. And, he's injury prone at this point. I think you got to call it how you see it. But yeah, it's Puka season. He's back. He had the 7 for 70 with a touchdown. Let's see what he does with a full game with no Cooper Kupp whenever that comes around. And
We have a
So
special.
we have a special guest going on, but first, shout out to Vinny for the shirt of the night, representing Seinfeld, and Taylor
Woo!
Weeman's here.
We have
So
a former champion in the house tonight.
yeah, former champion Taylor Welander in the house. Thank you for coming in here. Definitely look forward to him spamming the comments section. And he said, "What is this?" So Weeman's new to the show. You missed a lot of our awards. I hope that you stick around. I know that you're trying to work right now, but I hope that you stick around for and here just in a few minutes. We're gonna have a really cool commercial that I think you'll really like. But yeah, just listen to us ramble for a little bit, and then Weeman, you can enjoy that. But yeah, he just randomly found us. Actually, we've known him for a long time. One of the best people on the planet. Okay, so anyway, that's what he had to say. So those are some moves that I'm thankful for. Is just the rookies that I've been able to find and be high on. Jameer Gibbs, even though I rage traded him over to Matt in one league, I kept him in my other league, and thankful that nobody bid on him at the time. And and anyway, but yeah, it's popping now. We got 4 people in here, a world record. So you guys keep the drinks flowing and keep the comment section going. So anyway, I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, I did make a recent trade that I had made mention of earlier in this video. But so Joe Burrow went down this week. That was hard. Rest his soul. I had him in Dynasty. He was my pride and joy, and I have Jamar Chase as well. And anyway, Joe Burrow went down. I'm 10-1 in that league. I'm not about to let and my backup's shit. It's Jordan Love. It's Will Levis. So yeah, big drop off. I have a lot of premier talent at the top, and then it's a huge drop off. So Joe Burrow going down. I was like, all right, like I need a quarterback, like a good quarterback. We're on a tear here. We have the most points by far. We're 10-1. What do we do? So I was like, you know what? Like I dominated last year and got beat in the championship. I can't take any risk at this point. I have draft capital on top of everything. So I traded away Joe Burrow and a 2024 second. I had 3 of them. I traded my middle one for Tua Tagovailoa. So I got Tua. I also have Tyreek, by the way. So this is a dynasty league. So I've built this team up. I have Justin Jefferson too. I have the Holy Trinity at wide receiver. I have Puka Nacua. I have Tank Dell. I draft really well. So we could keep going. I have Alvin Kamara. I have Jameer Gibbs. Like it's you name it, pick your poison. If somebody gets hurt, I don't care. I just reload with someone else. So
you just roster baited all over us right there.
So and the team I lost to was the Candyman.
Oh.
So and his team's struggling to make the playoffs. And his team's probably very representative of our thumbnail for this video, actually, which everyone will get to see later. But anyway, yeah. So just very thankful for that move, and then also like realizing whenever it's important to trade on guys where you have so much depth and can accumulate draft capital in a dynasty league. You want to make sure that you're doing that throughout the season. And then you have a lot of draft capital to play with on the other end, like whenever you do get to go Rams. So
I wonder if Weeman knows what city the Rams are in right now.
Oh, okay. So all right, question for Welander. And don't Google it. Don't cheat. Just a legitimate guess. What city are the Rams located in for $100? Of Vinny's money. And then, so while we wait on Welander to make his comment, Matt said his brother gives him shit about the trade, which this was a big trade. Like, I can see how some people would think this, but I get it. Like, so he traded CD's Nuts Lamb and Josh Allen for Tyreek Hill. Who won the trade? I think it's a wait and see. He has CJ Stroud, just for a little context here. So that's why he got rid of Josh Allen. Also, the guy who had Tyreek had Joe Burrow. So Joe Burrow went down, so he needed a quarterback, got Josh Allen. So I think, and CD's putting up Tyreek Hill numbers, but Tyreek Hill has that game breaker ability that we don't see out of anybody else. I think I think it's an even trade. I think it helped both. A lot of people in our league won't see it that way because they see it as, oh, you gave up someone putting this up the same amount of stats as Tyreek Hill lately, and Josh Allen, and like Josh Allen hasn't looked terrific. He kind of had some long throws that went the right way this past week, but I mean, if you got C.J. Stroud and you believe in him, you're just going with your guys. So,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, I mean, Coach V, what do you think about the trade? Who do you think won, or do you think it's a wait and see?
Mm. Is this a dynasty league? This
Nope,
is,
season.
oh, it's just season long, and the
Yep.
other guy's trying to get. He was just trying to get someone for Joe B. Yeah, if it's season long, I think that's a fine trade
Yeah.
because you're short. Um, Matt's short up at quarterback with C.J. Stroud, um, and gets to add Tyreek to the roster. Like if you just went like 1-to-1, who would you rather have, Tyreek or CD? And you take the other guys out of it, then you want to go. Everyone wants Tyreek in that situation. Like he's going to go off for 30, 40 points multiple times a year, maybe in your fantasy playoffs. Uh, CD also game flow. The Cowboys are just
He,
boat racing people right now, and they're not needing to throw for 200 yards as often
yeah.
as Miami, who can't seem to like put a team away these days. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, CD is kind of can be.
CD can disappear at times too. Like he's still a wide receiver one, but he he disappears sometimes. So, it's I don't know. I think it comes down to player preference and roster construction, and we find out later he was playing that same team and beat them by I think 30 or 40 or something. So I mean, it's not affecting him yet or anything if it was to negatively affect him. But I think it was a good trade on both sides. Everybody addressed everything. I don't think there's a clear winner yet. I think it's a we'll see at the end of the year. And also like we're quick to react to trades like, okay, this person won, this person lost. Well,
Yeah,
that person could that player could go down like Aaron Rodgers first play of the game or something.
yeah.
So it's yeah, just one of those things. Weeman with the big answer. He didn't have access to Google or anything, but the last I checked, they were in Los Angeles. They
Nailed
have
it.
LA in their logo. Got him, and he likes Tyreek Hill. Who knew? So,
Big
so
Tyreek.
big Tyreek Hill guy. So that's what I'm thankful for. Coach V, what are you thankful for this year in fantasy?
So mostly just for believing in the Lions offense. Like I believed in it all off season.
Oh,
And
Matt's like that too. He starts 4 Lions in
yes,
his dynasty. Yeah.
and I, drafted like I believed in them. So across all of my teams, lots of shares of Gibbs, lots of shares of Amon Ra, lots of shares of Goff, lots of shares of Laporta, and it works out. It worked out really well. So I'm thankful that I wasn't scared by the Lions' history, who have a very ugly, awful history. This is the first time they've been like 8-2 in like 60 years or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, glad I hopped in on them and went for it, and glad I believed in Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah.
Really working out. Was worried that just this wasn't the season for him. He's going to be a wait a few years kind of guy. But turns out he's a great player now, and he's like been the number one option really the past 2 weeks. And
That's why we're concerned about Stephon Diggs.
yeah, and even when Diggs is doing well, Kincaid has still been getting his. So glad and thankful that I believe in him. It's nice to look back on positive things over your fantasy season because it is hard. It's easy to get caught up in all the negative things that happen throughout the year.
Exactly.
Can I get a Dale? Yeah,
Uh,
brother.
the ultimate positive thing.
Our sweet son Tank Dell.
Oh man! And so Weeman says that
Hot
Aaron
take.
Rodgers feels guilty for his injury.
Yeah, he owes all of us an apology for sure. And the way to do that is by coming back for the fantasy playoffs,
And he might
which,
just do that.
yeah, I don't know. Oh man, one thing I'm not thankful for is Zach Wilson.
Oh,
Just ruining Garrett Wilson's fantasy year. Like that sucks. And I don't know how Garrett Wilson didn't end up on our Hillshire Farms list, but I mean, like Zach Wilson just trash. Like,
yeah,
and they're starting some guy I forget, but like, yeah, target the Jets. I mean,
yeah,
Miami Dolphins. Like most people have already added them, but if you have a chance at a waiver claim on the Dolphins, go
yeah,
get them. Like
yeah.
they're not a great defense by any means, but I think they're going to completely BF those Jets. So Jets quarterbacks, butt cheese boys.
So before we hop into our week 12 preview, we have another sponsor of the show who wants to get in here because I mean it's a hot show. I understand why so many different brands want to advertise with us, and
You've
so
been busy on those. Everyone's reaching out to you, and you're like, "Hey, we'll do our best."
yeah,
And maybe we can't, do a whole segment, but here's what we got.
I'm head of sales for the fifth advertising sales for the fifth quarter fantasy cast, and they're making my job easy this day. They're calling me. I'm not even calling them. That's how easy this is getting. So, anyways, we have our next sponsor. So yeah, listen up for a little ad from Duke's Mayo.
Stay tuned for this special message from Duke's Mayonnaise. Hey, Robert. Yeah, Ted?
Yeah.
What you doing? Putting some mayonnaise on my sandwich. Well, what the hell you using? Oh, this here? It's a squeezy pouch. A squeezy pouch? Ain't that for pussies? Nah, man. After a long day of changing carburetors and using my hands, a squeezy pouch is just what the doctor ordered. Oh.
All right. So thanks to Dukes, thanks to Robert and Ted. You might be hearing more from them in the future. I think they signed on with Dukes for a multi-year deal. So Robert and Ted probably going to be putting out a lot of ads here in the near future, and maybe doing some ads with Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, those guys, they know how to push some mayonnaise. That's for sure.
Yeah, and make sure you push it out of a squeezy pouch too.
Speaking of mayonnaise, Taylor John Neiman, he that guy likes mayonnaise. I've seen him.
Yeah, I've seen him eat a chicken sandwich or two. We need a nice video of that and just like no explanation. Put that in as one of our segments. Like, and now we're gonna watch Taylor Weeman eat a sandwich.
I wonder if women's seen the butt cheese boil alert.
I think that's what he was commenting on.
Yeah, he appreciates
But
that.
glad he got to see it. I mean, we have some others that we use here. Like if someone's real nasty, we'll
Yeah,
use the put on the extra cheese, please.
please.
If there's someone that Vinny really likes, we'll make him a coach's favorite. And then if I have some important, like, hey, do this, like pick up Miami's defense, doctor's orders, like, we'll throw that on there. And then my favorite, if your season isn't going that well, why don't you head on over to Underdog Fantasy, use code Fifth Quarter Fantasy, and Underdog will match your deposit up to $100. That's Fifth Quarter Fantasy. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. So if you put in $50, you can make $100. You put in $100, you can make it $200, and then make it $1 because you lose everything. Just get on over to Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast. We'll put you in and go over to Underdog, put you in a brand new Chevrolet 1999.
You were trying to sell Chevrolets. You can't do that.
All right. Well, we have someone who might use the code for the first time. No one's ever signed up before, but this guy
true.
gambles.
That's true. So, week 12 preview. So, what's coming up? And so we got I got about 10, 12 here to talk about. So
Okay.
remember, we got a lot of Thanksgiving games. There's 3 games on Thursday. So remember to set your lineups. That
Oh,
first game, Green Bay and Detroit. Remember, that's always the early lunch game. So you're at grandma's having some turkey sandwiches. And then she's like, would you like some cranberry sauce with that turkey sandwich? And you go, shut up, I'm watching the game. Okay. So
you're like,
that's,
isn't that for pussies?
do you have that in a squeezy pouch? So, anyways, first game is Green Bay and Detroit. So, Love is not the worst start in the world. I was thinking through like the state of quarterback, and there could be some people who are in a really bad spot this week.
Lost Burrow. Yeah.
Gino might not be playing. Um, we don't know who's quarterbacking in New England. The Jets aren't starting Zach Wilson, which could be great or could be really bad. So, anyways, how do you feel about Love playing against that Detroit defense, which does tend to give up a lot of points?
I guess it's okay. I mean, he's more like Jordan like. Like, you don't love him, but you might like starting him sometimes. He's a spot start. I mean, it really depends. Like, I mean, you're probably not doing this. Like, you're probably updating every week. Not everyone can win the championship like Taylor Weeman and keep going, but
That's why we would be great at best ball because
oh, he would be. He'd love best ball. You should sign up. Use fifth quarter fancy cast fancy the keyword,
the
and
whole.
they'll match your deposit up to $100
I mean,
and get you in a brand new Chevrolet.
they may have invented best ball based on Weeman's game winning championship year and said,
Yeah,
"Oh, it is possible just to draft the team, never update it, and win. How about we make this a business?" So
yeah. Like we saw what the France fetus catchers did in 2012 over in the Randy Little quest, and we thought that we should make that into a thing for everybody, and you can bet on it. Um, but yeah, no, I mean Jordan Love. I think he's a fine young man. He's a fine start. Detroit loves giving up points. They're very fantasy friendly for that reason. Like, and they're an improved defense too. And I like that they can still win games and be so fantasy relevant for us, like on every end. And they finally figured out how to use their running backs the right way. Loved what they're doing with Jameer Gibbs and letting David Montgomery eat too. I mean, that's what we want. We want more points all around. And you go to Detroit, you're gonna get that.
right. So next one is Washington at Dallas, the traditional Thanksgiving game. And so it seems like everyone can run a train on the Redskins. Basically, if you need help in your fantasy endeavors, pray
Don't
that.
get canceled. What? The Redskins?
Oh, the command.
That was like 2 names ago. It's 2023, sir.
I forgot. I
Oh
was thinking
no.
this is the traditional Thanksgiving game, and my mind went backwards in time. They're no longer the Redskins; they're the Commanders.
You gonna turn red after that one.
So we saw Pollard get going last week against Carolina. That was nice to get in the end zone. The main thing is, I mean, I think all the Cowboys are going to get theirs. I think Washington's going to really struggle to score points. Do you think Pollard keeps it rolling against Washington?
I don't know. I think last week was a hey, if you're gonna do it now or we're dropping you. Because it's the Carolina Panthers. Everybody runs against them.
Yeah.
And I think I I don't know. I don't know about Tony Pollard. Like I know he's on the God Squad. We loved him at the beginning of the year. He's kind of left a sour taste in our mouth. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm willing to give him another shot this week, mainly because of the running back landscape. And I guess I'm 50-50 on it, which is better than where I was before the Carolina game.
Yeah.
So arrow's pointing a little bit up, but it's still kind of, I don't know. Meh. So
Yeah.
I mean, but Matt gives up a good question or a good statement here that I think adds to the conversation. Sam, just on a first name basis, Sam is still a very good fantasy quarterback. Has had a solid season. Damn right. Like Sam
Sure.
Howell, we love the guy here. How
Oh,
he
oh,
that was weird, but I felt like I needed to do that. So, Sam Howell, um, yeah, I think he'll hang with the Dallas offense. I think we're in for a big shootout in that game, honestly. Even though
yeah.
like Dallas has the better roster and all, I do expect Dallas to win the actual game, but I think it'll be very plentiful for the fantasy people.
Yeah, yeah. I hope it's a shootout for fantasy purposes, but man, I'm hanging on to Tony. Tony bought himself another week on my team.
All
That
right.
touchdown, those 18 points he scored, bought another week on my team. So trade deadline's passed. He's on my team anyway. I'm rolling with him to the finish.
Take
Um,
that, Matt.
so Miami and New York Jets.
Oh,
Miami
yeah.
had a setback with Achan this past week. That was really sad to see for the Achan owners out there. So I feel like some of the Miami assets have been kind of shaky, like Waddle, Achan. Tyreek's been doing fine. Mostert's been all right. Are there any Miami assets you wouldn't start this week, considering it's the Jets team?
Mm, Robbie Chosen because he's not on the team anymore. But no, I'm rolling with that Miami offense all the way.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, Jalen Waddle's been super disappointing.
Yeah.
I don't have any shares of him, but I've seen people trade for him and all that, and I feel for them because we know what he can do. He was a wide receiver one last year. Um, Tua can definitely support multiple receivers, but it's the Tyreek show over there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not as worried about the Jets defense because the Jets offense is so bad. Maybe they get close to the red zone, and we know that they're going to capitalize. They're not going to put up 70 against them or anything like that, but they'll still get theirs, and just like our friend got his, um, and and then laughed about it. And anyway, really bringing some life and some nastiness to the comment section tonight.
So the next one I wanted to ask about was Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. So a lot of changes are happening. So one, Pittsburgh with no Matt Canada. What is that going to look like
Sheesh.
this week? And then Cincy with no Joe Burrow. So this is a whole week to prepare, not just here you go play football. The other JB, like this is a whole week.
Jake
So
Browning.
yeah, that's why they drafted him. They were like, well, same initials, probably plays the same. And so, what do you think? Oh, so Matt's already like easy dub for Pittsburgh, which I could see that Pittsburgh D line really getting
Oh
after
man,
him and just
yeah.
putting him on the shit the bed award winner list this week maybe. But how do you feel this is going to shake out? Chase, is it a mixing day? Does that Pittsburgh running game, is the two-headed monster still going to be rolling okay?
I mean, I think Pittsburgh's gonna win like 10-7 or something. Like I don't think it's gonna be a. I think it's gonna be a defensive battle, but Pittsburgh does have the better defense. Pittsburgh's offense sucks, but they did get rid of the worst player on their offense, Matt Canada.
Yeah,
So I mean that's good. They did get the running game going a bit. Kenny Pickett sucks, but I do think Pittsburgh pulls it out. But I don't see a ton of fantasy. I guess fantasy that I want a part of. Like obviously you're still starting Chase because you never know. But I think maybe you look a different direction in like Higgins or one guy. If you have like nobody at receiver, look at Trenton Irwin. That Jake Browning to Trenton Irwin connection was like a very real thing
yeah,
during that game. And Another guy, if there's another receiver injury or something like that, Charlie Jones in a very, very, very deep league. Check out Charlie Jones. He returns punts for them right now, but he was like the one. I think he had the most yards or something like that. And anyway, yeah, so everyone's in on the Steelers on this. I just don't like their offense at all. But anyway, yeah, Kenny takes shits downfield is how I would sum that up. I just don't think Kenny Pickett's good at all. Um, yeah, T Higgins does blow. So I mean, I don't know. I never understood the hype there. But yeah, I mean, what we thought would be a really exciting matchup at the beginning of the year. Um, Really, not so much. But I mean, I guess you're interested in Jalen Warren. I don't think Najee keeps it going. So maybe some Jalen Warren action and Jamar Chase. And that's really about it for me. Are you in on anybody in particular, out on anybody in particular in that matchup?
Uh, maybe they rely on Mixon more, even if it's not running, just dump offs and shit like that.
Yeah.
So maybe
He was
Mixon.
oddly involved.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's, when a quarterback's under duress, which he's going to be under duress, you could see him just dumping it down. So maybe even those, since he kind of 2 or 3 headed monster at tight end, good luck picking which one to put into the game, but probably one of them is going to have some catches. So, yeah, it's weird.
Big Trenton Irwin game.
This next game is a weird flipped game. As well, Jacksonville at Houston. At the beginning of the year, we would have been like, oh, is Houston going to be able to keep up with Jacksonville?
Yeah.
And now we're like, can Jacksonville keep up with Houston? So
right.
Flip. So 2 questions. Well, one comment. I don't know if I was listening to the live broadcast of all the fantasy matchups on Sunday, and they were discussing how basically Zay Jones unlocks Calvin Ridley's value. So when Zay Jones is in, Calvin Ridley gets to play in the slot more and isn't the X receiver or the Z, whichever one is the primary. And that allows him to run different routes, and he doesn't get covered as much. So then I went back, looked at it, and like all of Calvin's big games are Zay Jones games. And it's really easy to see because Zay Jones is like missed most of the year, but every time he played, Calvin had a big game. So it's like, the key to Calvin Ridley is Zay Jones, not Calvin Ridley doing anything. It's just he gets easier, better routes when Zay Jones is in the game. So
it makes sense because gamblers love slots. They love playing the slots. So I mean, yeah. That's really good deep analysis there with, Zay Jones unlocking him and him getting to be more in the slot, move around more, and because that's what they originally wanted to do with him. Now that I'm like thinking back on it and why I was so high on him, like they're going to move him all over the field. Now they can do that because shitty Zay Jones is back. So,
it doesn't mean Zay Jones produces. He doesn't produce really. He just runs those routes that take the defense one way, and then Ridley can go run the other way.
Man, I think I'm going to start Calvin Ridley this week. He had that bounce back game, but I didn't understand why. It's because Zay Jones isn't in jail and he's not hurt. And all right, so everybody listening, this is doctor's orders about a coach's favorite, Zay Jones,
which started from Sirius XM Fantasy Football Podcast Radio.
So make sure that if Zay Jones is playing, you can start Calvin Ridley again. You can trust Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
Only when Zay Jones is playing. If he's out, just put him on your bench. No need to start Calvin Ridley. So Ridley and Jones are both in there. Start your Ridley.
There you go. And so I was going to say, which this might be an easy answer, but if you had to just play one Houston receiver, let's say you just had to play one, which one would you play? Is it Tank like we think?
Let me think.
Can I get a Dell? Yeah, brother.
So that's an easy one. Until
what do you think? Yeah.
I feel like until something changes, that's pretty much.
CJ Stroud loves Tank Dell, dude. Like, he can't get enough of him. Yeah, Tank Dell's the one I'm starting. Just also like he's just got that ceiling. Like I would love to see them getting more shootouts. Like, what the last couple weeks, 178 yards and like 149 yards, and
Yeah.
just man, he is. I love that man. He is like a son to me. So yeah, I mean Tank Dell really coming through. We got some activity
Yeah.
going on here. And yeah, Trevor's been kind of shitty. Like he was on the God squad, now he's on the shit squad, and he's trying to get his way out of it. And he had a good week last week. He was like the QB1 last week,
Yeah.
and Ridley was also like the wide receiver one or close to it. Very weird. And they went off on a lot of people's benches.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean I think we love the Texans a lot. Like as Titans, like fandom out the door. We know the Titans suck, so
Yeah.
cheer for fantasy production, right? So,
Right.
Texans. So yeah, I mean Texans. I think they do hopefully get the W, but I hope it is kind of that back and forth shootout that we really hope for. Obviously,
Yeah.
um, Weems said, "Just pulled up to my house, drop out, but know this: Taylor W will be back, and next time with more mayo, with with my squeeze pouch, go Barberton Magics." All right,
Man, he's
one
a
love.
game changer.
He's crazy. Yeah, it's a popping comment section. I
Uh,
bet we might go off for like 30 views on this. So
yes.
big night over here at FQF. Um,
Uh, so we got Buffalo at Philadelphia. So another man. I mean, Philly's going through it. They're playing a tough schedule right now. So thankfully, this one's at home for them. And so we saw both their number ones this past week. Diggs and Brown have down weeks. Do you think both get going? Do you think just one gets going? If so, which one? Um, who gets going, or do both get going this week?
um, I think I think both get going, but I wouldn't be surprised if just Brown gets going. I think something's broken Buffalo.
Yeah,
But it's only been a couple down weeks for Stephon Diggs.
yeah,
He's not the problem. There's just something broken over there, I think. And who knows? Like sometimes you can fix broken things, sometimes you can't. Um, but AJ Brown definitely going to get going. They won, so I don't expect him to like bitch about not getting the ball or anything like that. If he did, then expect 200 yards and 2 touchdowns because
yeah,
AJ Brown's one of those alphas that like if he's not getting the ball, he'll let you know. But then they'll force feed him and he eats that way. So it's I mean Diggs, we're concerned about him. This would be a great game to come back to because it's should be a shootout. They're going to have to put up points. They're going to have to throw that ball. So
yeah.
we'll see what happens. Uh, Gut feeling says that they both get going, but I am kind of self-doubting the Diggs thing. And
Mhm.
hopefully I'm wrong on that because it's always more fun whenever everyone's producing.
Yeah, yeah. I loved last night when that interception thrown at Brown. That was like a miscommunication between him and Hurts. I loved when Brown went and just ripped the football right back out of the defense. I was so mad that they called that guy down and that didn't count because I was just like, that guy's such a badass. He was just like,
He's so
give me my
strong.
ball back.
Yeah. Yep. And then hot take, Matt Kogart coming in. Josh Allen isn't nearly as good as what everybody thinks. Stats show it.
Dang.
He has thrown the most interceptions
Yeah,
over the last few years. He's also thrown the most touchdowns.
yeah,
So it's the good and the bad. I'll take it. Like if I'm a Josh Allen owner, like yes, it's kind of frustrating, but I mean ultimately you lose like a point or two per interception, you make up for it.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, definitely, hard to watch whenever it like kills a drive or something like that. I think that's the main thing is the drive killing from the interceptions and things like that. So, but I mean, I'd be happy to roll with Josh Allen. I mean, if you have C.J. Stroud though, you don't have that problem. So,
Hey.
we know where Matt's heart is at. So,
So last one is Baltimore at the Los Angeles Chargers. And so My main thing was, I mean, Jackson has been playing kind of weird, like not really scoring that much because of the
Yeah.
damn Gus bus, and so that's been messing things up. The
Choo
Chargers,
choo.
the Chargers are just like looking like a shit show these days. Like Herbert's getting his points pretty good, but like Eckler's playing weird. Quentin Johnson is disappointing.
Oh,
Uh,
F that guy.
and
I'd say drop him everywhere.
Like even in
Even
even in
Dynasty.
Dynasty, I'm
Yeah.
considering letting him go because it's just like he's not. It's been almost a year of football and he's not picking it up at all. Like he's.
Yeah.
I mean, like, did you see where Keenan Allen was yelling at him because he like didn't know where to be at on the field? Just like,
No, I
dog.
didn't see that. I just know that he can't catch. So, and it's weird. Like he caught in college just fine, but
Yeah,
it just didn't translate. He's one of those like top three, top four receivers coming in,
yeah.
and you're glad you maybe thankful you didn't take him somewhere. So,
And so the question I had on this matchup was OBJ's a hot waiver wire ad this week, and you kind of talked about OBJ earlier, so we kind of know how you stand on it. But yeah, so thoughts on OBJ as a waiver wire ad this week? He has had 2 good weeks. He's shown bursts of speed, but like you were saying earlier, yeah, it only took you 2 years to have 2 good games.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like it felt weird, like seeing Jamar Chase get 9 points and my opponent with OBJ got 15.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, if I lose this matchup over Jamar Chase getting outperformed by OBJ, that's ridiculous. So I mean, I'm not adding him. I'd rather start. I don't know, someone fluky like Jahan Dotson or like, just I think you have better options than OBJ, but somebody's going to add him and it's I just don't I'm just not an OBJ guy. That's just I guess a personal bias and I'm not going to add him. I don't care if I don't know if he puts together like 5 weeks in a row then, but he'll probably be scooped up by then. So I'm fine with missing that train. Um, so avoiding OBJ. I'm not sure what happens in this matchup. Like the Ravens have been so hard to predict, and so have the Chargers. They've both been playing really weird. You never know who's going to show up. At times you think Eckler's back, and then sometimes you see a little bit of I don't know, something slowing him down or something. It's just not coming together. They're also not dumping it off to him like we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
Um, I am thankful that I made a move off of Austin Eckler before the season started in a dynasty, and realizing like, okay, 27 is the new 30 with running backs. He's 27, and the team doesn't want to pay him. So I mean, you got that going on, and then on top of all that, before like any potential holdout or anything like that, I was like, I noticed this one guy, he had the 1.2. I did it specifically to get Jameer Gibbs. And I was like, hey, I'll trade you Austin Eckler. He was in win now mode. I am too, but I'm also in win now and win later mode. And so I was like, I'll trade you uh, for the 1.2 and Drake London, which I ended up flipping for picks or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I'm not adding OBJ. The BJ in his name says that he sucks. So, that I'm just avoiding that. You adding him anywhere or letting
Um,
someone else do it?
One league where I'm really desperate at receiver, I'm adding him, but it's not a pick him up and start him situation. It's just like a pick him up and see if he does it again. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of talent there. You never know. He could be worth like a 1 game playoff window or something. So,
you never know.
but yeah,
Yeah,
if you don't have room for him, I'm not saying there's like guys you should drop for him.
right.
But if you
Overall, it's a feel and a need, I
you can
guess.
sacrifice the space and he's out there, even if it's just to keep him off of someone else's roster, don't let him go off on someone else's team that's playing you or something. So yeah. And yeah, Matt was talking about Mark Andrews. We hate seeing Andrews go down. He's a great player. I don't know if it changes much, at least not much for Zay, because I think it just like it's one less weapon. Mark Andrews is like the first read for Jackson. And so that just puts more emphasis on Zay and OBJ. So I think it could be a net negative. Unless Isaiah Likely is legit, like everyone says he can be a good.
Do you think it's likely?
Man, he had like one good game last year. He had that chance
Yeah.
last year, and he only did one thing with it, and then it was over. So I honestly don't like it. I like it better with Mandrews in the game. I would say it would help red zone targets for the receivers, but oh wait, they just handed to the Gus Bus, so they're not throwing in the red zone anyways.
Oh, wait.
So yeah, we'll see what happens there, but I don't like it. I don't think it improves matters for Zay, and I wish it would because I'm a Zay guy. So
Yeah, you are a Zay guy. You what was the trade? I know you gave up something for Zay that was pretty big.
yeah, I did a first round pick for Zay. So, and I figure
Yeah.
if it was a 2024 draft and it's a second year, Zay would be a first rounder.
Yeah.
So I
That's
was
one
like,
good way to look at it.
yeah, I was like, it's basically what I would have got anyways. So I'll just take Zay. And that's a known commodity. There's no unknown with Zay. You know what you got. And so, yeah.
I like that outlook. It's yeah, I mean, like sometimes we notice that as we start to look at the next class, like, okay, where am I shaping up to where I'm going to be at in Dynasty? All right, I'm missing playoffs. Do I have a Marvin Harrison here or do I not? Like, what do I have here? So, if you see Zay Jones as the not Zay Jones, Zay Flowers as the just the better option, then that's great. Um, and then kind of at the end here, but Taylor's back.
He's back
And
for the show.
his girl's asleep. It's guide time. Where's the merch at? There's a good question.
Yeah.
I know we're working on a website. We're probably thinking next year for that, aren't we? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I've been like farting in my underwear and selling it online. So looking for that. I don't know if that's what Lehman's looking for as far as merch is concerned.
Oh, he's nothing more than a common butt cheese boy.
So I got
That's
plenty of
nice.
that merch. I got like back order on that if you want it.
So I don't know. I know that there's I know we have some ideas I guess we can share. I mean, we do have two people in here right now, so not really breaking any ground on anything yet, but I mean, we have a couple of shirt ideas. We got the Praise Peepaw shirt potentially, which he kind of came into the chat one time and said Hellman's is better than Duke's, and then left forever. But yeah, we got the Praise Peepaw shirt. I have like a couple of shirt concepts for like preseason next year that me and Vinny will go over that we haven't talked about yet. But I have an idea of some things that could generate some hype and stuff.
I like
And
the
then-
Travis Etienne shirt with like a pinky up. Then you like phonetically spell Etienne like it's fancy.
Yeah. And you're right, Duke's is better. Weems, you would have loved maybe 3 weeks ago. There's a video where I try a Levis latte, which is something starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, Will Levis, likes to do. He likes to put mayonnaise in his coffee, and he threw 4 touchdowns in his debut. So to represent the 4 touchdowns, I put 4 squirts of Duke's mayonnaise out of the squeezy pouch. And drank it, and it really wasn't that bad. It was a little creamy, or a little, I don't know, it had clumps that would kind of separate, but it really wasn't that bad. Like, I wouldn't recommend it, but at the same time, I wouldn't avoid it. Like, I wouldn't, like, if someone's like, hey, pay a $5 fine or drink a Levis latte, I'll probably drink the Levis latte. And I mean, it wasn't really ass. It sounds crazier. It sounds crazier than what it was, but you just gotta try it. Maybe I'll do it again if he throws more touchdowns, but who cares? So,
Okay, we're gonna land this plane. That's your Week 12 preview. Don't forget, Thanksgiving games. Lineup. He's spelling clump. Oh God. So yeah, don't forget, set your lineups. Don't forget to like and share and all that good stuff. If you commented during the live, make sure you comment on the video after it posts, because that helps us get extra popular with everyone. Did he finish spelling clump yet?
He did.
I just clumped in my
We gotta have the Duke's Mayonnaise Clump Your Pants Award or something after that.
He just gave us an award idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe that's next year once the bed's full. But
So we gotta teach Weeman how to exit the show. So Weeman, when you're heading out on this show, there's 5 important things you have to do, and those things are: you need to live, laugh, love, like, and subscribe. Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast. Bye, Weeman.
we're out.
That's my clump.
Slump, slump, slump.
Clump.